Good morning, everybody. It's get your paint on, get your paint on, get your paint on. Good morning, everybody. It's get your paint on with Oz, Oz. Good morning, everybody. Get your paint on. Oz is here, and so is John. Get your paint on, get your paint on. It's Thursday morning. Get your paint on.
Hi.
What's up?
Hello. Let's get your paint on. Let's paint.
How creepy would it have been if I sung along with all the words of that song
Just
perfectly?
ad-libbed.
Just guessed them
just-
off the top of my head.
Right off the top of your head. I wouldn't have been creepy. It'd been amazing.
Well, sure, in a creepy way.
I'd be like, we're quitting. We're starting a new job. We're going to go on the road. Me and Oz.
Ad-lib acapella band.
Ad-libbed acapella band. There's,
Yeah.
there's got to be a niche for that, right?
I don't know about the ad-lib part.
Yeah, but at least the acapella part, they made at least three,
Oh.
blockbuster movies. Out
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
we could be the next Pitch Perfect.
Pitched perfect. Crit pitch perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I think we're going to work a little bit on our level 7 commander. Just a little bit. And then I think I'm ready to just start painting on Kronos.
Ooh.
Because I think that guy's pretty boss looking.
Yeah, and he's a completely different palette than her. He's got like kind of see-through plastic lab coat situations and
Yellows and some greens and some.
I got
gross
bad
stuff.
news. I don't have see-through paint.
sure.
Like,
But a weird raincoat texture to it.
and I can paint see-through, but that's very complex and a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think for this, I don't think that's what I'm going for in this. I think I'm just kind of trying to get done just for tabletop, right? So let's tabletop these guys and get them on the board so we can play. I do want a little highlighter here.
Yeah, you got really, really far on this model last week.
Yeah, not bad for an hour, eh?
Not bad at all.
If that was one of my paint jobs, it would have been done a while ago. Like what I consider done.
This is the joy of good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's done quick. I agree, actually. So I do want to put a little green on this little canteen holder. Like, I know that's not tactical,
But she's using aftermarket canteen technology.
I think I'll add just a little bit of contraster there. And then what color? So she has a little visor. And she has like special visors, Oz,
Yeah.
that lets her see stuff. So I was thinking blue glow in the little vision holes.
So that's the Canon color is all that their tech glows blue because we did a lot of color palette stuff in all the components. And the aliens are usually purples and reds, and the commandos are darker, cooler colors.
Right.
So yeah, all their little lights and everything on their gear is generally blue. But you were talking last week about making it green, possibly.
Yeah, I did talk about making it green, maybe.
So many choices.
I don't know. I don't know what I want to do.
I vote blue. Oz?
Blue is very classic.
It's
but
classic.
I defer to Dallas's better color eye.
I mean, the blue works really good. I mean, because especially if you do, that black is shot.
You just dipped a brush into an empty pot.
I just dipped a brush into a completely empty pot because I have a really bad habit of just being at a show and being like, that pot's dead, and then I just throw it immediately into the bag and be like, future Dallas will deal with that.
Well, you did. So there you go.
That's a good.
That's a present
pot.
from past Dallas to future Dallas.
Yeah. Past Dallas loves future Dallas. Future Dallas hates past Dallas.
One of my favorite things about the onset of winter is I often find money in my winter coat pockets from 9 months ago. So I'm always giving myself like Christmas presents kind of by putting a $5 bill in a pocket and forgetting about it for 9 months.
Or, at least the present of like coffee or something.
Sure. I found a 20 in a pocket once. It was amazing.
That's amazing.
That, those, like, I've also done that exactly once.
Yeah.
And it was literally like the best because it was one of those jackets that had like the little zipper pocket up on the arm, right? And I had put it
You
there.
put money in an arm pocket? That's just weird.
No, I put it there so that I didn't forget about it. Right, I put it there because like it was one of the shows that we went to. It was for taking a cab from the airport to the hotel, and then there were enough of us that we ended up just splitting it and using cards. And then I didn't use that coat for a while.
I'm old. Dallas and I are the same age, but I feel old. I've learned at this point in my life I will never remember things, especially when I want to.
No, I've hit that point now. Yeah,
And I've started having to keep a log of my paint color choices for painting models. Because
Well, I
I
do that
used to
anyway.
think, I know, but I used to think, oh, I'll remember all these paints that I used the last time I painted these, two
Not
squads.
true.
And that doesn't happen.
no, I made the mistake of like I was working on my Risavos Defenders and I had come up with this scheme kind of by accident that just really worked, and I forgot to immediately write it down, so I spent like a week trying to recreate it. When I finally did it, or at least got close enough that I couldn't tell the difference, I wrote it down.
Yeah, I had to refer to something last night. I'm painting some more Lords of Cthulhu stuff, and I was almost positive I knew what I had done, but I wasn't completely positive. But I wrote it down. I don't write down everything, unfortunately. I have a couple of paint schemes that are lost. They're just like, whatever that looks like a blue, I'll just try.
There's definitely studio schemes that are lost.
Mm-hmm.
And part of your job as a studio painter is going back and being like, how did this person do this? It's like, I'm not real sure. I guess we'll dissect it and figure it out.
Well, and some of those studio paint schemes the colors are mixed colors too, right? They're not straight out of the pot.
Almost all of them, I would think.
I mean, but you can still tell, like, once you do it every day, like,
Sure.
I can look at two P3 colors and usually tell what you did.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure somebody's going to come up to me at a show and be like, I challenge you to figure out my paint scheme. And I'll be like, okay.
That's one of the joys to me of painting like an RPG model or something that's a one-off that you don't have to ever match. Is that you can just go wild and do whatever you want and mix with whatever colors you want, not write things down. And you're like, I have painted this guy. He's cool.
So
I
I
don't
actually had
have
the
to
same
match 'em.
philosophy on, like, armies. This is like,
Yeah.
close enough is good enough. They don't have to be exactly every time the exact formula. Like, most of the time you can't even tell if they're slightly off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause
especially on the table.
your eye is not that good.
And then a new paint color comes out, like
Like
Deathless Metal.
oh yeah.
Because I've started incorporating Deathless Metal into almost everything that's metal in my armies. But for a long time, I didn't have it. So I have some armies that don't have those. And then I kind of just incorporate it slightly into newer units and things.
Yeah, and there's ways to do that. It makes it
Well, especially
work
because
really good.
Deathless Metal, and then the semi-metallics that came out a little bit after it for the other stuff. They just blend in with other colors so well and make them better.
Deathless is my favorite color to use almost on anything metallic. Because you can dry brush other colors over it to get really good, cool effects. You can dry brush it over colors to make it look like things.
Yep.
I think I dry brushed it over some troll highlight or one of the light colored bluish grays, and it made it look like a really cool like patina old painted thing that was rusting and stuff.
Yeah, that works pretty good.
Alex says hello, hello, Alec. Yes, it is Dallas, Oz, and John. Trevor Corey says, "Are we doing level 7 things?" We are doing level 7 things. Dallas is currently painting the alternate team leader from the second edition of Level 7 Omega Protocol
Team leader.
on Kickstarter now. Go get your copy.
Yeah, every single backer level has this model in it. It's exclusive to Kickstarter. It's going to be made of resin by us in the building. It's not going to be made in the factory like the rest of the products.
handmade right here in sunny downtown Bellevue, Washington.
It's not sunny anymore.
The rest is entirely true, though.
Yeah, it's not the 2 months out of the year it's sunny, but
We're not really downtown either, but
no,
you know, hey,
we're close enough.
Pretty darn close.
We
though.
can see downtown from here.
we can
Sure
see
can.
downtown.
Yeah.
We can admire the downtown from afar. All right, I'm gonna mix a little coal black, middle white highlight, put a little bit of highlight on these gloves, just to kind of indicate that they're kind of a different material. Kind of some sort of maybe leather. I know we talked last week where I realized that her underclothes, the fatigue stuff, has got some green in it in the art.
Yeah.
But I want to bring some of that blue into it. I think so. We're gonna highlight with a little blue colors.
Well, because you used some coal black, and did you use any Exile blue last week? I can't remember. But you used coal black, yeah?
I don't even remember anymore.
I think I'm
There's
pretty sure you
blue
did.
Tones. I remember there was blue tones in the base layers.
We were talking about how much coal black is amazing, so I think you got it out at some point.
I'd have to go back and watch the video
But needless to say, you can see the blue tones.
because
in
I
it. Now we're picking them out.
literally don't remember.
Doesn't matter. Put paint on stuff.
Okay, and I painted that knife handle real silver. So I'm gonna tone that down with a little wash. That's like a little, kind of whatever was on the palette. There's some black and some other colors nearby. I just grabbed them all together and just washed over top of it. Whatever.
I want to see somebody paint this like super high level, like competition wise, and make those fatigues digital camo or something.
And
crazy.
do like a little diorama.
Yeah.
With like a little, she's like there, and you got the meat sack behind her, right? Like taking up the back, and then you got like another guy maybe with some rifle like flares, and you have like a couple aliens being hit in the head, and
Yeah, the cover of the core game is very static. It shows the team in the environment, and then for the expansion, we did an action shot of an alien in the foreground, really big, over its shoulder, and then the commandos with their guns blazing
Yeah.
in the background.
I haven't decided which piece of cover art I actually like better because I really like both of them. Like,
I really like the core box cover art because it really shows you who the commandos are and presents them as like the heroes. It's very much.
They look very elite.
Yeah.
Yes. They
But
look
it-
like they're about to go get some stuff.
But it also
done.
gives you the creepy background stuff with all the tanks with
Right.
the storage and the pinks and everything, the contrast there, blues and dark colors.
Yeah, but that Extreme Prejudice cover is also super dynamic, super. What's the word I'm looking for? Like things are about to go down. Like that's
Yeah.
not going to be a fun time. That's going to be like, oh god.
Yeah, it also features the meat sack in action, so you get to see it's like guns
Right.
blazing and that kind of stuff.
meat sack in action.
Yep, that was part of how, like, if you look at the level 7 series for Escape and its expansion, they were very much like, here's a character in the game, kind of as a portrait. I like Lockdown a lot because there's the doors opening and there's a creepy thing and there's all kinds of awesome colors. But we realized for Extreme Prejudice that you couldn't really show a portrait of the meat sack and get across what it was, especially like a head and shoulder shot like the other models are in the other boxes. And then for Invasion, we did a whole different thing with an action shot, trying to explain exactly how the drop ships work, because the drop ships are weird, upside down pine cones.
Okay, so this little bump on her arm. I don't know what this actually is.
It's a place for keeping a 20.
I think it's probably a readout of some sort.
So that's what I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna
Yeah.
paint as a little readout.
Arm
No,
pocket.
we discussed that. Don't put your money in your arm pockets. You forget every time.
Yeah, but when they successfully exfiltrate from Subterra Bravo, then they're gonna need to catch a ride somewhere, or do they have a vehicle?
They have, they're a fully supported Spec Ops team.
So
if you
is there-
read
is
some
there
of the
actually
fiction,
is there actually extraction
Yeah.
waiting for them, or
Yeah.
are they just completely
no, there was
disposable?
extraction. We don't know if the extraction survived in the story. We don't talk about it, but yeah, there's extraction teams.
Stryker's got kind of a cool idea for the little diorama setup. Is she's giving the stop signal, like the hold up. So putting them in a hallway with aliens in the walls and vents about to ambush would look pretty dope.
Mm-hmm. I do kind of want to get an APC for level 7. We need a game with APCs, Oz.
Sure.
Make it happen.
Well, we've talked about
level 7 extraction.
we've talked
There you
about
go.
lots and lots of things over the years to do with the setting, and some of those things happened, like the 3 board games, and some of those didn't. We abstracted things out for Invasion because it's the big global battle game,
Sure.
and we wanted to do the human soldier versus the Hydra soldier to show they're to scale with each other.
Yeah.
In that game, even though there's teeny tiny guys. But we did talk about at certain points doing something like vehicles and infantry and that kind of stuff. But in the end, we went to a much more abstract system of just this counts as army power and this counts as army power.
Sure.
Yeah, but a game of like where you get to use like some little level 7 like extraction vehicles and like APCs and stuff. That'd be fun.
Well, and if you read either piece of fiction, Danger Close, the short story that's a prequel to Invasion, or Judas Protocol, which is a prequel to Omega Protocol,
Are those available on the website?
they are. You can go to store.
Store.privateerpress.com.
I always forget what the dots are. But yeah, you can go there and get them. And Judas Protocol missions are also still available. I saw them on drive-thru, I believe, the other day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, they're still there. And then Alec asked a very important question. Dallas, did you enjoy playing Stabby McGee a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
So for those that missed it, both this last Tuesday and the Tuesday before, Oz took on the role of the overseer and had 2 different teams trying to get some stuff done to various degrees of
A successful team and a not so successful team.
By not so successful, you mean
They made it to the last room and they almost planted the last bomb.
right? And then you TPK'd them.
But no, I just killed the last
Seems
remaining
like pretty almost successful.
player. Yeah, that's on the edge of success.
Edge
And
of your seat excitement.
JP Great One wants to know who to pay to make a skirmish game with full miniatures out of level 7. That would involve so much time and money.
Yeah.
You can give me all your money. I can't promise anything, but you can always give me all your money.
He'll happily take it.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, yeah.
We can even talk about how cool that game would be.
It would be super cool.
Can't make any promises,
Send me
but
money.
But yeah, money. I like money. I should set up a Patreon just for like things that might happen someday. Give
I'm
me $1.
pretty sure that's probably illegal.
No, I know Patreon is just gifts. I think you can set a Patreon up for anything.
Yeah, but like under the premise of stuff that might happen that actually just never happens.
I'll set the Patreon up to pay me to think about things.
Okay, there you go. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Why not?
But while you're here, Privateer Press is paying you to think about things. So you can't double dip that way. You'd have to do it on your own time.
Yeah, it'd be on my own time.
Okay.
It'd be in the evenings and weekends.
Gotcha. JP Great One says, I will buy the Privateer Press Company if I have to. Good luck.
Hey, if you have enough money,
I know, but even then, like
Everything's for sale, right?
yeah.
at some threshold, yes. But I believe just given how much the owners of this company like doing what they do, I think that threshold would be rather high.
Yeah.
What's your point?
Hopefully, JP Great One's got a whole ton of money, literally tons.
Dump trucks.
Fund trucks.
Yeah.
I said hi to a couple people: Alec, Buddy, Chris, Striker, Miss Half Damage. Hello, Riker's
Onino.
Iron. Oh, Nino. Yep.
I need my turquoise ink.
It's in there somewhere.
It's in there somewhere.
If not, there's a whole bunch down to your right.
What's the fun in that?
Yeah, it doesn't make as much cool sounds.
The shuffle.
Oh boy. So all I did was do Menoth White highlight and then Arcane Blue and then Menoth White highlight mixed with Arcane Blue. And
Just
now,
on that. Just on that one panel.
I did it on, hang on, I'll show you. Let me get this turquoise ink out. I just need a little touch of turquoise.
You did it on a few of the edges.
So-
it looked like.
I did it up here in her goggles. Oh, I missed the spot that I want to do. So I want to do a That's why I highlight coal black. Not coal black, they were black. We're going to highlight this little bit of cloth. There we go. So the goggles, and then I did the reticle, and then I did like a little readout, and then I did that.
Cool.
And now put a little highlight on that too. Why not?
Zoo Kinetic Medic just saw the Cthulhu and Shadow Sun Syndicate stuff in their local store.
Yeah,
and
those
they're
released
so
last Friday.
Good. Well, it's one thing, like, I can show you all the pictures in the world on the internet. But,
Yeah.
like, when you actually go in and get to look at them up close and in person, it's always an entirely different bag.
Yeah, I think with the delay of the starters, people forgot when the real release date was, and were surprised when that.
Oh, I don't think they
that
forgot. I
second
think
month.
they just got a chance to actually see them.
Well, no, well, a lot of people I've talked to were like, "Wow, those are already out." And like, yeah, that was the original release date. The second month was supposed to come out then. It's just the first month got pushed back. So we had a really, really close first and second month release cycle.
Yeah. U.S. Customs working hard for you.
I want to know what else was in the container that made our dice not show up, like some shady stuff going on.
But apparently it was a multiple like board game company stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so it was not like, it wasn't, so unless, like some arms dealer is hiding things inside of,
You never know.
puppy game. I don't know.
Why is the arms dealer Russian?
I don't know.
Why racist?
I don't know. Was that Russian or was it Ukrainian? Was it Bulgarian? Like, was it like,
It was a bad accent.
it was
That's all
a
we
bad
can
accent.
guarantee.
That's all that matters.
I just did a little glaze of the turquoise ink over the whole goggle area to give that little turquoisiness to the goggles, especially since I did a highlight on it earlier, so that will tint that. And I did a little glaze over the little readout and on the little. Painted this like little square, like a little glow square. Tactically terrible.
Yeah, you don't want to light on your back.
Generally, not much of one.
Sure.
Like
but,
a very subtle red one, maybe.
but it's a sci-fi action movie, so you
Yeah.
gotta
And
have.
the thing is,
you gotta have things.
she's a badass. You think she's afraid? She knows meat sack's got her back.
Sure.
Yup.
She doesn't always bring the meat sack.
What do I want to do with this base?
We talked about a whole bunch of options last week.
We did,
You
didn't
didn't
we?
decide on any of them.
I did.
My favorite is cracked concrete with some blood splatters and stuff, because that's what a lot of the tile set in the game looks like.
Was that
Yeah.
concretes?
Yeah, it's mostly concrete floors and wear and tear, and then when the escape story happens, there's a lot of open conflict.
Yeah.
And these guys come into a wrecked facility, so like the previous soldiers had probably thrown grenades and fired machine guns and been splattered all over the walls. So you can do
And
a
along
whole
with some aliens.
yeah, you can do a whole lot of weathering, like combat style weathering that isn't outdoors, like erosion weathering.
And one of the reasons that that's also a lot of fun is it's not terribly difficult, and you get to play with techniques that normally I would think not to do. Like, so, like, for example, when you're doing the blood spatters and stuff like that, you can do stuff with the amount of water and or saliva you have in your paint that normally creates those little rings that you try to avoid, but look really cool for blood splatter.
Yeah, our design team had a lot of fun doing the map tiles in both Escape and
I believe
Mega
it.
Protocol,
I believe
because they generally made them look normal, and then they dirtied them up with like blood trails being drugged to like vents and stuff by the clones and all kinds of interesting creepiness. So the sky's the limit, except when I say the sky, I mean deep underground.
Deep
Right.
underground.
The subterranean, installation is the limit.
Mm-hmm.
Their shaft is the limit. Oz.
Womp womp.
You could also, if you wanted, you could do some icy stuff, because Subterra Foxtrot is in like Nome, Alaska or something, one of those towns at the very, very top of Alaska.
There's
And
gnomes
that's-
in Alaska?
Yes, there are gnomes in Alaska. They have the big pointy hats. And in Judas Protocol, the team goes to Foxtrot and fights, and like some of the tunnels are icy and like it's winter, so even underground, there's like water condensation and ice and those kind of things.
It's funny. I know that you held on to that brush, Dallas, specifically to use it as a dry brush as it aged and lost its its usefulness for different types of applications. But anytime I look at it, I still feel sad about the fate of that brush.
It's like a chimney sweep brush.
What, love? Why would you feel sad for a brush with love?
Okay, maybe not sad. Maybe just fondness for what it had done in the past as well. But it still gets to be used, so it's not sad.
One should never hold on to their past accomplishments, for that will never meet up to your future accomplishments.
Yeah, that.
Is that Dallas wisdom or is that from somewhere else?
I just made it up
Okay, cool.
because I have a very philosophical standpoint on past and the what the past meant and what your accomplishments of the past mean.
Yeah.
And they're not very positive.
Sure.
And they all get summed up in one Pantera song
Oh.
that I can't say the name of, or I can't say the line from.
What song is it?
I can't say.
What? I thought you said you couldn't say the line in the song. The name of the song is inappropriate too? Oh.
It's a Pantera
It's
song.
Pantera, dog.
Yeah, but not all. I mean, one of their songs is called Walk.
Yeah.
That's not inappropriate. It's also my favorite Pantera song, but not on purpose.
Because you run your mouth when I'm not around. It's easy to achieve.
No. That's not the
Legionnaires,
reason.
that brush is not nightmarish. This brush has ascended to a new purpose that only it can achieve.
Llama Juice says Yoda Dallas.
One of my favorite brushes is an old, really fine bristle brush that I didn't take care of very well, and the bristles eventually just solidified into a, I don't know, a point, and then they deteriorated over the years as I tried to use them for other things. And at one point, it was a clump of things and like 3 little hairs that stuck out of it. So I used it for like really fine details, and then eventually it turned into just a stick with like a soft end on it. And now I use it to clean out the caps of my paint pots. A brush is never dead.
I like how they're all concerned about this brush,
And yet it's getting work done.
and it's getting work done, which is what I'm all about. And then Kinetic Mech says, I presume that's a dry brush whose valorious service has reduced it to that level. I'm gonna really bother you guys. It's a fancy brush.
Wait, it was a fancy brush.
It still is.
Now it has evolved.
Whoa! Age does not reduce one's fancy.
evolved.
Also, it's still got the label.
Well, a person's fanciness does not like dissolve with time. Like you stay fancy forever. Once fancy, always fancy.
Unless you were never fancy to begin with.
Correct.
Yeah, as I said, once fancy, always fancy.
I have not achieved fancy.
I've never been accused of being fancy.
I mean, let's be honest, neither have I. I owned a raccoon.
Well, but that's
Wait. Whoa,
that's a life
whoa.
goal.
Yeah, that's super fancy.
Like, I've never been accused of being fancy or smart. All right, we're gonna put some Great Coat Gray over the top of all this stippling. You think it should be cracked? We think we need some cracks in there, maybe.
Cracks or something that makes it look like it was damaged a bit, like bullet holes or
Bullet holes.
whatever.
That must be my dice rolls.
Pip.
Well, because the story of the game is that this government facility, all the Subterras are underground buildings, and Bravo is one of the bigger ones. It's got 7 levels, and it's also the base of Dr. Kronos, the main alien. There are other aliens, but he's the leader. And the conspiracy lasted for like 50 years, and the government and the aliens worked alongside each other. And then in Escape, you running for your life, terrified, pushing buttons, opening doors, trying to do whatever, it destabilizes the
ecosystem, if you will.
yeah, and the relationship between the two, which they weren't really getting along perfectly.
It shows some things. Some things come to light
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
game that neither side is particularly happy about.
Yeah. And so the aliens rise up against the humans of the base and destroy them all, and then take over. And so there's a whole lot. Like if you look at the tiles in Omega Protocol, there are tiles that on one side have like a computer bank, and on the other side that computer bank is exploded and like scattered all over the thing. So there's a lot of fighting that went on, and no one on the human side survived or escaped. So who knows how many soldiers were in here fighting for their lives, and they died. Some of them with some accomplishments, but yeah, they blew the place up.
They blowed it up real good.
Who will survive?
And then
what
Alien.
will be left of them?
Alien tech guns blowing up stuff too.
And corroding things and doing
Yeah.
all kind of weird alien stuff to the facility.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
well, those cracks are pretty cool. I dig
so
that.
scorch marks and
What
bullet
kind of
holes.
color are you using to establish the baseline of those?
Thamar black and coal black.
Boom. Is the coal black in there just to give it a little bit extra depth with the
Just so
color
it's
in
not
it?
just black.
Yeah. Speaking of brushes that have gone on to a better place, I have one that is very much like the one Dallas was using for dry brushing, except for even more haggard. I use it for when I'm doing basing to like apply like different types of like glues and stuff like that, because the bristles are just like they're destroyed. Like it will never be used for paint, but it allows me to more carefully apply where like glue's gonna go for doing
Yeah.
different basing stuff.
I don't get rid of no brush.
Yeah, no, like it is what some people would consider well past its prime, but it is still a very useful tool.
My favorite thing about brushes and glue is that they look completely dead. Like if you use white glue.
Oh yeah,
The brush is completely solid, but as soon as you start moving the glue around
It
with
starts moving with
it
it,
absorbs
yeah.
some of that moisture and it loosens up, and it's not a brush again, but it's a different tool than if it was just a solid piece of plastic.
It is a glue brush. So it's still a brush.
I agree with Dallas. No brush is ever dead. Nothing else. It's the stick. You do something with it.
It's true. Even then, it's a stir stick.
Are you gonna do any kind of a color on the facing arrow there, or are you just gonna leave that blended in?
It's gonna be yellow, I think.
Little hazard stripies on it or something?
Maybe, yeah. Put a little shadow around her feet.
So a tiny amount of lighting effects, but not super heavy ones.
Yeah, not real heavy, right? Just kind of give that kind of quick glance illusion of she's, taking up space. Nothing complex.
Well, like you said though, you're getting this miniature done. You're not doing like competition level paints on it, right?
I'm kind of thinking the edge of the base should still be black, though.
Many people out there love blacking
Could be,
the
or it could
edges of
just be-
bases.
Yeah, or it could just like match the concrete color too. Either way, I could see you going either way, Dallas.
That's a good question. Hidicule asks,
I would
how do
say
you
hitical.
how do you highlight when you're using a color that you mixed yourself?
You mix another color.
I thought that'd be his answer.
I mean, it honestly depends on the color you made. Short answer: don't just add white. White makes a terrible highlight addition. I need to get to the backside of that arrow. Look at complementary colors and mix up your new color. I mean, if you're into mixing, you're into mixing. In for a penny, in for a pound.
Dragon Pup likes Frostbite as a generic highlight. Well, if you're working with cool colors, I bet it works.
It works on warm.
Does it?
Yep.
I've never tried it with warm colors. I will have to play with that.
You could do what I do and not highlight things.
I vastly prefer things highlighted.
Oh yeah, but I don't want to. I don't want to learn how to highlight things. I'm too lazy.
Well, I don't go crazy, right? Like I don't even even the very simplest steps I do don't get anywhere near this yet, right?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm still practicing. I'm still learning. But I
What
need
the-
something to make things stand out.
Man, I cannot decide if that would look better with as just a big slab of concrete. Because that's awful slabby.
I
It,
do
it
like.
does look like one of the tiles right now.
Yeah, I do like that. It looks like she's standing on a slab of concrete.
All right, well then let's go in.
That's pretty cool.
As I say, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Legionnaire says, "Fun question: which fight in Privateer Press lore would be the best choice for the Kirk Spock fight music?" Well, you have to have two people that are normally like the best friends,
Yeah.
Venter.
and Magnus.
There you go.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of friends fighting. In the
No,
setting.
but I could see like at that moment where Magnus realizes he's just really kind of being used.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. I prefer Kirk versus the giant lizard fight as opposed to the best friends weird mating ritual fight. So, I mean, that's what it is. That's what that episode's about.
Yeah,
It's about Vulcan mating rituals and how they make you angry and you have to fight people.
Vulcans are weird.
Yeah, well, generally aliens have to be weird in some way to make them alien. I mean, not all aliens have big bulbous eyes and stand 8 feet tall and eat human glands like the level 7 Gen, but
I wanna hold your glass.
I don't even know where we're at now.
where are we at? We're in this room.
We are watching you base the level 7 Omega Protocol alternate team leader from Kickstarter.
Let's put a little shadow behind.
I'm crackling some of that concrete.
Crack-a-lackin'.
Yeah, what do you say?
So Hidakul refined the question. The colors are red leather that he's trying to highlight. Looked at it last night and wondered how he was going to pull it off. Zook Kinetic Medic suggested adding a yellow or orange.
I would look at yellow, orange, yeah. I mean, that's always good for red leather. You don't want to add white because that just makes it pink. And that's probably not going to work for red leather. But definitely yellow.
Look at some references
Orange.
as well.
References are always good. I'm a big fan of references. I say it all the time, and yet people still don't use references. I'm confused.
I don't understand that because, I mean, everybody has a phone.
You literally have every image of the world
Yeah.
in your pocket.
If you want to try to make something that looks realistic, you can find pictures of real things.
All right, boys, here we go.
What are we doing?
I'm going to hazard stripe this.
You gonna hazard stripe just the chevron?
Yeah.
Okay. Freehand hazard stripes.
Yep. Do I want to do? I don't want to do that. I think this.
You got this, Dallas. Lots of encouragement.
Encouragement.
Chris Sawyer says, "I'm sure this has been asked already, but when will this game be available to buy? You can get your copy of Omega Protocol right now on Kickstarter."
Yep.
As far as like future retail plans, there's nothing planned yet, but I mean,
Yeah.
stuff could change. But right now, there's no plan.
Chris Surrey. Am I going to see you in a couple weeks, buddy?
It was Chris Sawyer's.
Oh, Chris Sawyer. I thought you said Surrey.
Is that somebody from St. Louis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We will be in St. Louis in what, like a week and a half?
Yeah.
We're flying on Halloween for War Machine Weekend. We'll be there from Wednesday to Monday,
Wednesday to Monday.
hanging out, playing games.
I don't know if I like this angle I chose.
Gonna do a little bit of Monpoc and Company of Iron, and of course War Machine Hordes.
I'm definitely bringing my Monpox.
I am currently trying to figure out how to transport mine. I'm gonna probably borrow an army bag from us.
Your Monpoc stuff?
Yeah,
I can
because
bring in a bag for you.
well, no, I'm gonna just borrow a bag, and I have to dig around for foam stuff. I have a lot of Monpok stuff.
I know you do.
I have a bunch.
I'm aware.
I have 3 monsters.
Right.
And
But
I
think your monsters will fit in the bigger piece of foam I have in my convention bag.
Sure.
And then your littler dudes will fit in the other ones I have. So I will bring it in, and you can let me know if it'll work.
Possibly. I'm also taking Company of Iron, so
I could easily get 2 Monpok forces and a couple of Company Irons in that convention bag.
what are you taking for yourself, though?
I'm not going.
Oh, you're just going to loan me a convention bag.
Correct.
I thought you meant like along with your own stuff.
No,
you could fit
I
some
will.
other stuff.
I will loan you mine, and you can use it.
Is it one of the little convention bags or the one of the big convention bags?
Little one. Well, I have both. I have the
Yeah.
backpack, and I have from Battle Foam. I have the backpack, which is so dope. If you guys haven't seen that, go to Battle Foam, take a look at that backpack. It's freaking amazing. So I have that, and then I also have one of their convention bags, which is the smaller kind of
The vertical one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the stretched out cube.
Yeah.
I love that bag. It
Yeah, I need to get one of those.
because I can carry a 75-point army in there, along with like 2 Company of Iron forces and like my dice train, some stuff. Like it's perfect for like a small show or stuff that I might not get to play much at. But anything else fits in that backpack like easy.
Yeah, I always meant to buy a P3 bag, and then that tournament bag came out, and I still haven't bought one of those either.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been using foam for years and years and years and years and years, and being given foam that other people thought they were done with and was dead, but I still find uses for it. So
I have like plenty of old pluck foam that has been plucked and replucked many times to accommodate different things.
I also, just like brushes, I never throw away foam. Even the pluck stuff and blister foam and all that stuff. You can always pack
There we
stuff
go.
in. Are we done?
Well, hazard stripes. Check it
Yeah.
out. That's
Cool. You said at one point you didn't like that color, but you like it now?
What color?
You said at some point under your breath, you said, I'm not sure I like that color I picked.
No, I didn't like the angle I picked.
Oh, the
Like
angle.
for
okay.
the hazard stripes, I'm still not convinced that they're the right angle. I think maybe they should have been more straight on to go with the angles to go against the angles of the chevron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You can always change it later.
I can change it later, but
Well, and the only important thing about that chevron is it indicates which side of the base
Yep.
is the forward facing. So even if you kind of blurred the angles of it being a chevron, it's still important.
well, it
it's
just
still-
it just confounds the eye with the angles of the.
Yeah.
It's more like that.
That dude is so creepy looking.
Dr.
Oh, hey,
Kronos.
you've got an example of the old plastic and the new plastic over there too, yeah? I know we showed
Sure,
that
we
off
talked
a
about
week or
last
two
week.
ago, but might show that off again.
So this guy's the plastic from the first
Yep.
Floppy McBendy.
one, and then we've redone the plastic for the Kickstarter, and it's much stronger, holds its shape better, and it has tighter details.
It also stays in the original pose.
It
You
does.
notice that guy's leaning farther forward and his arms are a little bit different. He was supposed to be like that, and the softer plastic kind of,
Drooped over time.
well, no, it just became neutral.
yeah.
Like a lot of the subtle bends and the elbows and stuff just kind of flattened out.
So for people that are new to level 7, Oz, explain who this guy is again, real quick.
This is Dr. Kronos. He is the leader of the Gen aliens, who are refugees from a galactic civil war, who have been plagued, what we find out in Invasion, by the Hydra to die. And he's a super scientist, and he's figured out that the human DNA has some sort of properties that will help him solve the genetic problems of his people, but he doesn't know what that is yet, and he has to experiment. So,
And he does horrible
well,
experiments.
he shows up, he makes a deal with the U.S. government, because this is a dark conspiracy setting where the U.S. government's the bad guys to a certain extent also. And
Nothing at all like the real world.
yeah, and he trades like Velcro and stuff, those alien technologies for human test subjects.
Right.
People that
Like-
have been disappeared.
Yeah. Here, send me the people that have no chance of ever getting out of prison and stuff like that.
No, they abduct people off the streets.
Oh.
But usually like in the middle of the night or on country roads.
Because
or-
that's way cleaner? Question mark.
yeah.
Instead of like, here, send me the undesirables that no one will
Well,
miss.
it wouldn't be a UFO conspiracy if people weren't vanishing from their daily lives.
True.
So yeah, a lot of the logic of a setting leads into that. It's based on real UFO conspiracy theories, and then given a little bit of a twist and our own.
Real UFO.
No, they're real theories. A theory can be real without being true.
I know.
I've seen the guy with the hair and the hand gestures.
It's like aliens.
Yeah, he believes in that stuff.
So Alex says, super or mad as far as scientist?
He's not insane at all. He's very, very logical and pretty evil when it comes to like the morality of humans. He doesn't really care about us.
Right.
So
it's a means to an end.
Yeah.
He wants to save his race, and he's willing to do whatever he needs to us to figure that out.
And you also find out in Invasion and some of the other elements of the setting that the Gin had a giant galaxy-spanning empire where they found other races and then genetically manipulated them into tools. And their downfall comes when they build a warrior race that then rebels against them. So, yeah, he sees everybody as a means to an end, sometimes including his own people, which is where Dr. Thoth and him have a problem in the Judas Protocol story. But he is like creepy alien scientist man with his lab coat get up and his breathing apparatus and stuff.
Because they breathe ammonia.
Because they breathe
ammonia-based
air.
Yeah,
they breathe an air with a heavy ammonia content in it, and so they can breathe our air, but it's not comfortable for them. And so yeah, he has a supplemental like little air doodad, and his own levels like down in level 7 and level 6, the Gin levels of the base, the air is ammonia, and the humans have to go down there with their
apparatus,
breathing apparatus. It's a power trip for him too.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's that kind of guy.
Like, haha, you've got to breathe my air.
Yeah. So we talked about early on, Dallas is not going to try to paint that robe the translucent plastic it is in the art.
No, I'm just gonna make it look kind of like a white robe thing. I think. Quick and dirty, man. Quick and dirty.
Yeah. Are you going to do some glow effects on him in an alternate color like pink or orange? Or...
I was thinking like magenta.
Yeah. A lot of the art uses a magenta, kind of reddish, purplish palette.
And I just like that. I think it's a nice deviation from the classic alien green color that is so prevalent in pop culture. Like even our Martians from Montauk uses like that kind of typical green glow that you would associate with Martian.
Right, but I mean, like that harkens back to like like old movies and your 4-color comics and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah,
getting to is that's what we do, and it works. It's very effective. But that's why I think I find this very enjoyable because we went somewhere different with these guys, right? We didn't go with the typical they have a very 1950s aesthetic.
Yeah.
But then, but our color palette, we switched it up.
There's some fun aesthetic deviations from it.
Well, and that's what I was saying with this is very much based on real UFO theory, but with our own twists. And part of that was establishing the look to be a little different because the little clone guys are definitely gray aliens, big heads, big eyes, short stature. And in the setting, the gray alien, theories out there are every once in a while one of these things gets out. And they're smart, but they're not, fully human smart.
They're cunning.
So yeah, they're kind of animalistic. And that's why the commandos exist. Because when an alien goes rogue, like the Doctor in Judas Protocol, or just an escaping test subject kind of alien, those commandos are set up by the conspiracy on the human side to go hunt them down and kill them. So our commandos are ready to fight the aliens because they've had to clean up problems with escaped alien creatures before. And Rikers Iron is asking questions about fiction for Monpok. There is an ongoing fiction series on the website in the Insiders, Monpok
Monster Mondays.
Where we are doing some fiction. And there's going to be other stuff in the future that we're not talking about fully yet. But you can expect more world-building type stuff in the future.
Yes.
And there's 2 novels.
Yep. You can go read Judas Protocol or Danger Close.
And they're available?
And they're available. Danger Close is a short story.
Yeah.
novella. It's shorter, but Judas is full on real novel.
Alex says Oz keeps saying theory like he's a believer. Oz, have you had a close encounter? Is the truth out there?
I kind of have a couple of times.
Okay.
I kind of have a couple of times.
Couple of times.
I mean, I'm never that close of an encounter, but some weird stuff. Yeah, some weird stuff.
And we're not talking the guy downtown that talks to squirrels weird.
No,
Okay.
like lights in the sky weird.
Okay.
Like when you grow up in the country, out in the middle of nowhere, sometimes you see weird stuff.
Word.
And that's why they're called UFOs. They're unidentified flying objects. They're lights in the sky,
Yeah.
but you don't know what they are. And sometimes a completely normal thing in the sky looks weird.
Sure.
Or you've had too many PBRs.
Well, that's not possible with me.
That's true.
Like, have you ever seen I can't remember what they're called. It's a halo around the moon.
Yeah.
You seen one of those?
Yeah.
First time I saw one of those was in New Mexico. And it was real weird. It was like this portal around the moon. It was very strange. And then later, I found out that was a real thing and not like, the apocalypse or something.
Just a natural phenomenon.
It's just, it's a rare natural phenomenon, but it looks really weird. And you kind of just stare at it and you're like, I have never seen something like this before in my entire life. And then later you find out happens fairly consistently, but just never to you.
Phenomenon is a fun word.
Phenomenon?
Phenomenon.
Mhm.
Do.
What he said. Dallas, you're kind of. Are you done with the skin for now? Because I thought you were working on the skin, and then you kept moving down the body.
Oh,
He's
I'm
doing
all
all
over the
kinds of
place.
base layers.
Yeah.
He's just going where it's not wet to add more layers. He's shading the bottom of the coat a little bit. Doing a
Gotta
little
keep
two-brush
moving,
blending.
dog. Gotta keep moving. I did Bastion Gray over the Zenithal Primer. Now I'm doing Great Coat Gray over the Zenithal Primer to deepen the shadows and richen them out. And on the skin, I did Crixbane Highlight over the Zenithal Primer and then a touch of Battle Dress Green mixed into that over there to get that little green touch. Because I want to bring in that little bit of green into the skin, right?
And then your plan is to go with some magenta over that. Is that what it is here?
Just the glow.
Oh, okay.
Has like some little symbol on his arm there.
You can also do a lot of cool weathering effects with these guys. Like, I mean, and when I say weathering effects, I mean like aging their materials and doing that kind of stuff. Not active weather. They've been underground in labs for a while.
Rust effects on their faces.
Well, I mean, you could. I mean, who knows how their physiology holds up to the moisture in our air?
Oz knows.
I know the most, but I don't know everything.
No, technically that would be Matt, right?
You
Yeah,
know
Matt.
everything.
Matt created the setting, but I've been working alongside Matt on all these games and everything else. That I'm
just
kinda
saying, if you don't know, the only
Sure.
place that the answer could come from would be Matt.
Yeah, I'm kind of the go-to expert for the setting. Not that I've written any of the fiction. I've edited the Judas Protocol book and did rewrite chunks of it.
Sure.
And I've written all the little like flavor text and stuff inside the games. But where Doug is the kind of go-to guy for Iron Kingdoms, I'm the go-to person for this, unless it's a really, really weird question, and then I ask Matt. And half the time, Matt's like, I don't know, we never thought about that. Because the other thing about most game settings, and especially this one, when it's all mysterious and creepy, that you don't define things that are just left in the shadows.
Well, yeah, because there's kind of you actually kind of don't want to, because then like should anyone like get super into the lore and whatnot, well then it's kind of ruined.
It's not ruined. It's just you have to explore the creepier stuff in the right way.
Yeah.
Because if you explore something that's been mysterious for years and suddenly you explain it, and it's it's boring or whatever, then you've kind of ruined it. But if you go deeper and make it creepier
And
or
create new
whatever,
questions, yeah.
then yeah.
Always ask new questions.
Because part of what was the most fun about doing Invasion from a storyline perspective was we talked about in Escape and Omega Protocol that the Gin were refugees and they had this horrible disease. And a lot of that was established, and they lied to the government, and they were like, well, this horrible like disease spread amongst our people, and we got away from it and have been maintaining and like it wiped us all out. But then they never mentioned that that was a biological weapon from the Hydra. And suddenly, a new alien presence appears in the skies above Earth and starts bombing the planet because they know they have like a way to read where the Gin are, but not like the specifics.
Right.
And so they can see that there's like signals all over the planet for Gin technology and stuff. And so they're just like, just carpet bomb the place.
And the government's like,
Well, at this point, the conspiracy's broken down and Kronos is a bad guy. But then the government has to join forces with Kronos again because he's the only person who understands the new aliens.
Right.
And since his race created them to be the warriors and everything is psychic and all that kind of stuff, then he has basically the key to stop them.
Right.
So you have to escort him around the planet as different governments and complete his research projects and that kind of stuff to stop the Hydra while they're bombing the planet and dropping troops
Like they
everywhere
do.
and yeah, horrible things are happening.
Mass hysteria. Dogs and cats living together.
The dogs and cats have to live together. They have to combine their forces to fight off the horrible aliens.
Truth.
But that Danger Close story is a advanced scouting party of Hydra that show up, and you get to see their technology level and them fighting humans and some of the tech that's evolved further from where Omega Protocol was, with the character Dunn, the pilot that's in Judas and is driving the meat sack in Extreme
Right.
Prejudice. She's one of the top ranking, most expert like pilots and stuff. So she's flying this like hovercraft flying saucer thing the government's built from Gin technology.
Roger Overdone.
I can't remember her first name, but she's like Chief Petty Officer Dunn. Travis was in the chat last time and told me all about her first name, and I can't remember it.
so we're just deepening the shadows further.
They're a little cold black.
Rikers Iron says, do you guys typically start with a setting or a game design / gameplay? And pretty much
So
setting.
we've talked about this a lot in
Yeah.
all kinds of hangouts and stuff. Privateer Press does a lot of stuff top down.
Yep.
You can do bottom up, which is mechanics first, or top down, which is ideas 1st. And most of what we do, in
Starts with
general,
world building.
is what does the world look like? How do things work? Like Warcasters and Warjacks and Cortexes and
Yeah.
gods and all that stuff.
No,
That
there's been
came
some
way
cases
first.
where, like, once that's established,
Oh, yeah.
we've done some bottom-up stuff within the setting. Like,
Yeah.
we have this cool idea of how a thing could do a thing. How do we make it fit the
Yeah.
setting?
Well, and Level 7 is a really good example because when Matt originally created the setting, Dr. Kronos was the main bad guy, and there were clones, which were the little guys that
Yeah.
are his warrior, like,
His
servants.
minions.
And then he had the Fear Hunter hybrid, and that was it. Basically, those three things. And during the Omega Protocol development, we said, well, what would it look like for the rest of his experiments and when he weaponized things even more? So the blaster hybrids came out of that conversation of we wanted something that used its psychic powers to power up its weapons. And originally we were going to do maybe something that exploded or something else. And the rejects in the game kind of started as zombies. Like maybe they were human test subjects that had just been tested on so much they were kind of ruined. But we went the other way of they were failed like fear hunters and blasters and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So those things came from like the middle because you can do middle out also.
Yep.
Every option's possible as long as they're in
typically,
balance.
But typically, for a new game, it starts with a setting. It starts with world building.
Yeah.
And then what kind of fun stuff can we do in that? Started zoning out watching Dallas painting again. That happens to me sometimes.
Well, it's weird because I get one angle in real life and I get a different angle on the screen I can look at. So I can go back and forth and see what Dallas is actively working on, but also the other side of the miniature that he hasn't touched yet.
Boy's being loud.
Alex is asking if you think you're going to paint an entire set of Omega Protocol stuff.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think if you painted everything to this level and this get it done in an hour and a half or so, there are quite a few miniatures in the game. So
There's a lot.
It would be a big undertaking.
There is plenty of stuff in that box.
But you could batch paint some of it because there's 10 warrior clones or 8 warrior clones and 10 rogue clones and those kind of things.
I have a lot of projects, so it's kind of difficult for me to.
And as everyone knows, once you become a hobbyist, as soon as you paint your last miniature, you actually die.
Well,
You're never allowed to actually finish.
You never paint your last miniature.
Yeah, you'll die.
That's why I mentioned earlier about not highlighting. It's not that I
just don't want to die.
No, it's not that I don't want my miniatures to look as good as possible. It's just I want to have as many miniatures painted as I can for the second half of my life, however long that lasts. So I'm mostly focused right now on being done with models. So washes and dry brushes and finished is what I do. And I don't paint every night of the week. I'm not like Dallas. I'm not
paint every night.
as dedicated to painting.
Sure.
So I might paint a couple of days one week and no days the next week, and then every day the week after, and just getting done with models, because I tend to set a bunch of models on the shelving unit in front of me, just staring at me,
Like finish
and
us.
they're all primed and they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
And they're just like, come on. I have 6 more razor bores from the 10 that I intend to run. I have 4 painted, and I have 6 more that I modified and did fun stuff too. And they just sit on the board, and they're primed. A couple of them I've started on, and they just sit there, and they're like, we're going to be done someday, right? I'm like, yeah, that's why you guys are out here and not in the cabinet or in the move somewhere really and just become an assembly service for other people's miniatures. There's painting services all over the place, and a lot of people don't like building models; they like painting models.
Sure.
So yeah,
I like both. I am slower to start on assembly. Once I have it primed, I decide to sit down and paint. I just sit down and paint. But
you back to the skin, Dallas?
I'm just doing a little highlight on his cloth.
Yeah.
Start bringing that out.
Are you painting his hands like gloves, or are you painting them like flesh?
What color should they be?
It's up to you.
I was gonna do them as gloves. Should he have black gloves, like big black leather gloves?
That's possible.
Might be kind of cool.
Like a Bond villain.
Yeah, look at him.
I mean, he is like creepy and making weird gestures.
You have finally found my hideout, Level 7 Commander. You should not escape, for I am Kronos.
it's kind of a
Da, 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 da.
Yeah. Alec asks a really interesting question. How do we know that Kronos won't turn on us after we help him defeat the Hydras? So we've never gone that far. At the end of the story in Invasion, Kronos flips the switch. The Hydras go all wobbly in the head, and then we just kind of fade to black. So it's implied that the humans can now fight the Hydra with an advantage, because the Hydra is
they're all wobbly.
command and control and their brains and stuff, because they're kind of also psychically linked.
Chris says, "Do the yellow dishwashing gloves."
Ooh. That would be a little less sinister.
I don't know. That would be more sinister.
But
If he's just standing there "Why are you in my lab? I was doing the dishes."
Sure. But my idea that will never fly, because you can't kill off the villain, is that as soon as he flips the switch, he's being escorted by commandos.
Yeah, and they just
and one of them just puts a bullet in the back of his head.
"You've done well, Doctor."
Yeah. But that would be getting rid of the big bad guy in the setting, and That's
no,
a
that
bad
would just
thing.
that would just reinforce that the government is the big bad guy.
Sure. Because I have all kinds of thoughts about what to do with level 7 before and after, like on a long timeline. And we've talked about them in public before and stuff like that, but it just kind of depends on what's possible and feasible and functional. And production timelines and workloads and stuff have almost as much to do with it as ideas you have.
Oh yeah, like I don't even know if it's as much. It's more.
Yeah.
Right? Because I mean, like you can have multiple ideas a day that are fantastic or could be really cool, but the ability to implement and act on those ideas is always actually what's more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Yosue says, "What model is this?" Well, this is Dr. Kronos from Level 7 Omega Protocol.
Kickstarting now.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yes,
have-
that's right, folks. You can get your own copy of Omega Protocol in case you missed it by going to Kickstarter and searching for Level 7 or going to the article on the front page on privateerpress.com. If you already have Omega Protocol, you can actually just grab the tier that I think is like $20. It gets you all the upgraded stuff, and you just grab that and you're all set.
And we haven't said this stream yet. Thanks for helping us fund it. We funded
are
in the first
100%,
20
and that
hours.
was awesome.
Yeah. It's only going to be a 2-week.
And it's even got
Kickstarter.
like it's still got some good momentum. Like
Yeah.
like folks are reacting very positively to it, and that is amazing.
I think I'm gonna go with black gloves. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so.
Black leather, black rubber, something more matte.
Why choose now?
Yeah, you start and then you just see where it takes you.
Sure.
Like Da Vinci
Sometimes-
style.
Sometimes painting is a journey,
And that's kind of why I'm letting it run long today.
not a destination.
Just because Dallas is in the zone, so why bring him out?
I don't know where I'm going.
I think all things are a journey, Dallas.
I agree. Life is a journey.
I think the destination matters almost not at all.
I agree with that too. Oz, you and I agree very
Oh,
much
yeah.
on philosophical level on almost everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, there is no destination. There's only the journey.
There is no Dana, only Zool. What?
And I have that philosophy about playing games and building armies and all that stuff. Like,
Raising a kid.
well, I haven't done that. I've avoided that.
I'm just saying,
But yeah,
like, oh my God, I could really get into this one. Like, not having a destination for a child,
yeah.
just letting the child be the child.
But when I build an army, I start with something I like in that faction.
Oh yeah.
And then I just get more models, and eventually it's a playable army.
That's how I build armies too.
Yeah.
That is
And that actually
100%
kind
the
of
way
got
I
me
do it.
this morning when I was
Yeah.
doing playtest. I built an army, and then I realized I was a weird point value off, and I was like, I just took the fun stuff and didn't look at the points.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes it gets me.
That's the thing I like the most about Monpok is that there's no points values.
You just take the fun stuff.
I want one of these and one of these and one of these and one of these and one of these, and I'm done.
I may still seriously do the 20 G tanks just because I love the G tanks. So
Yeah.
much. Just so stupid, adorable, and so cute.
Yeah, a couple of elites and a bunch of grunts. And
So Oz, which do you think is cuter, G tanks or Belchers?
oh, G tanks definitely.
Yeah.
Belchers have that like bulldog cuteness going on.
And they got little Belcher booties.
Yeah,
I
but I
like the
really,
Belchers.
I really like the G tanks because they're kind of cartoony, but they're also kind of realistic and they're chunky.
yeah.
But you could see them. The thing I like the most about both those things is if you look at the cover art, which is also on the website and stuff.
Yep.
There are wrecked cars, like within a few feet of some of those
And
creatures.
it shows just how massive.
And
they
like
are.
a car is the size of like one of the Belcher's little foot claws.
Yeah.
They're gigantic. Even the tanks, and the units aren't 100% to scale with each other because
No, it's comic scale,
It's a game,
basically.
and we do whatever we want. But those tanks are supposed to be the size of houses.
Right.
The G stands for gravity, which is what they're not anti-grav vehicles, but they have anti-grav technology because that's the only way they can move around because they weigh so much.
This dude's starting to look kind of extra creepy. He already looked creepy. Now he's kind of looking
Well,
extra
yeah.
creepy because he's got like all the tubes and stuff going
Mm-hmm.
on.
Dog's got tubes in his eyes, man.
I need a way to be better. Bring me tubes.
I think we're about to a place to be done for the day. I was gonna finish blacklining all these little doodads and widgets.
Doodads and widgets make a thing cool.
Except for this one, because I have to flip him upside down.
Do it. Flip him. You live that dream, Dallas. You live that dream.
Nah.
I'm just super excited that for whatever reason, I did nothing different, but the stream from up here in Studio B worked on Facebook today.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
You just tried and it worked.
I try every time. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, let's give it the old college try, see if it goes through. Right? It has no problems downstairs. But for like almost the last 2.5 months,
It's been a long time.
it's like no matter what I've done, from restarts to reinstalls of the streaming software to like messing around with the internet configuration settings, like all kinds of stuff. Nothing is done anything. Randomly today, turned on the software, hit the connect button, and it just worked. So it's either an update in the software or something with Facebook's API. Who knows?
Or that computer's just moody.
Computers can't be moody, Oz.
They can.
No,
You can ascribe
we-
anthropomorphic things to inanimate objects.
We don't have the technology yet,
How do you know?
because that's how you get Skynet.
Isn't it? Yeah. There's a vast alien conspiracy out there.
Then they're doing a real good job, because right now we don't have Skynet.
That you know of.
No, if we had Skynet, there's no point in subtlety. It just takes over. We
What if it
can't
already
keep up.
has?
Our human brains couldn't keep
What
up.
if we're all Duracells in a vast network?
Dallas, help me out here.
I got nothing to say.
Dallas has taken the proper pill. He knows the truth.
The truth is out there, but I don't care because I have tacos.
That's why everything tastes like chicken.
I secretly eat steak every night.
Yep.
Riker's Iron's correct. We'd all know Kung Fu if that was the case.
How do you know I don't know Kung Fu, Rikers?
But I don't.
Well, but you're not. You're obviously.
No, that's actually a lie. I took Kung Fu. But nowhere near to that level.
John's still plugged into the system. Don't tell him. It'll make his head pop.
Why don't taco trucks drive around like ice cream trucks? I don't know.
I think it's because.
Oh wait, they do around here to a certain extent.
They do park in the morning and leave at night sometimes. Some of them are kind of permanent, but it's because of all the fixins.
Yeah,
You drive around, it's just things like
fixins go everywhere.
lettuce, meat, tomatoes. Things are just flying around. I mean, if tacos came in packages like ice cream does, self-contained, then sure.
Like if you could just roll up, reach into the taco bin and pull
Yeah.
out a freshly wrapped taco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, blacklining.
Doug Seacat popped in to say Skynet won't kill us; it just wants to sell us things.
Oh yeah.
Skynet is Avon? What? Like what?
Tracking your shopping habits. Wants to give you the worst ads ever. Are you done? Are you wrapping up?
Well, yeah, it's been an hour and 15, so probably
I
need to
didn't
wrap
want to
up
tell
and
you
go
the
to
time.
lunch.
You were in a zone. I didn't want to mess with it. I was trying to be nice.
So, yeah, I think we got pretty far on him. And we finished her, so she looks pretty good. She's got her little
Yeah.
has her stripy base.
Colonel's looks awesome as a starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, once we blackline more and define more shapes and add the color to his little gear, so those would be metal, I think. And then a little more highlighting, and then the glow effects. I think I'll make his eyes, glow. And this little doodadder
Center
there.
dealy.
And then I think he's got some little places over here that we can do glow, and then
His backpack.
yeah, there's something on his backpack that can be glowy, and then we got Kronos and our level 7 commander ready for action, so we could play a game, Oz, and we can use these.
Word.
We're not going to be streaming any more games of Omega Protocol though during the Kickstarter because next week.
I didn't say we had to stream them to play a game.
I know. I just wanted to tell people that might be listening and hoping we're going to play a game. all the equipment gets shipped out to War Machine Weekend soon, and then we'll be at War Machine
Tony's
Weekend the
packing
following
something
week.
up right now.
And then it'll be on the way back, so we're not going to be streaming as much. in the
No,
near
there's
future.
there is a plan. There will still be some streams, and I will have the finalized schedule for the next 3-ish weeks soon. Of course, Dallas, is pretty good about doing some guerrilla your paint on live from the shows, so expect to see some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like once we do the painting competition, I'll do something. And there's a bunch of painting classes. Maybe we can get in on one of those, or maybe all three of mine, and maybe a couple of the other
Sure.
fantastic teachers that will be at War Machine Weekend.
Word.
Or who knows what else? Maybe I'll just walk downstairs and just stream Oz playing Monpok.
Sure.
Are you taking level 7 to War Machine Weekend?
I don't know. I got to figure out what I've got space for and stuff, and I don't know if anybody